Consider supporting Review Tech USA on Patreon for just $1 a month. Link below in the description. Skip it up and that up. So yesterday I heard the very sad news that Toys R Us is soon to be anyway officially no more, at least in the United States. They're going to be closing down the remaining 735 US stores, and eventually those stores will go into liquidation, meaning they're going to be selling off their assets. So if you have a Toys R Us gift card, it's going to be valid for the next 30 days, and once everything dries up in the store and everything's sold, that's it. And also there's no return policy, so if you're looking to buy something on the cheap, know that you can't return it to Toys R Us. Just keep that in mind. Now, this has been playing out for a little while. Back in September, Toys R Us filed for bankruptcy protection. In January of 2018, they announced they're going to be closing up 180 stores, and that number in February increased to 380 Toys R Us stores throughout the state. So things have not been going good for Toys R Us for a while. This is what CEO David Brandon had to say about the situation. "I am very disappointed with the result, but we no longer have the financial support to continue the company's U.S. operations. We are therefore implementing an orderly process to shutter our U.S. operations and will pursue going concern sales or reorganizations of certain of our international businesses, while our other international businesses consider their options." So if you're in a part of the world where there's still a Toys R Us and you think it's going to be okay, no. I assure you those will be gone very soon too. Now, it isn't just the e-commerce scene, even though that was also a big part of it, that took Toys R Us down. Back in 2005, there was a big buyout of Toys R Us by Bain Capital and KKR and Company for $6.6 billion. Fun little side note, Bain Capital was actually co-founded by former presidential candidate Mitt Romney. Now, KKR, after the buyout of Toys R Us, said that the buyout would make Toys R Us a better place to shop and work. But no, it had the exact opposite effect. It financially tied down Toys R Us's hands so they couldn't invest in e-commerce, so they could stay relevant against companies like Amazon. And in the end, well, that buyout was part of the reason why Toys R Us is where it is right now. Now, some of these I've discussed in past videos before, but here are 4 reasons that CBS News says that Toys R Us went belly up, and this is what they had to say. Crushing debt. Toys R Us continued to struggle with debt, a legacy of its 2005 leverage buyout. It had $440 million in debt coming due in the current fiscal year, which ends in January, and a massive $2.2 billion in debt maturing in the following fiscal year. They were in serial refinancing mode. It seemed every year there was $1 billion that needed to be redone. Price-cutting competitors. One of Walmart's holiday strategies is to slash toy prices to lure consumers into its stores. One study found that the retail giant discounted its popular toys by 54% on average compared with Amazon. In its bankruptcy filing, Toys R Us noted that Amazon is not concerned with making a profit at this juncture, rendering their pricing model impossible to compete with. Kids just want to be kids online. Toys R Us famous 1980s jingles say kids don't want to grow up, but their tastes in toys do change. Lego, for one, is also feeling the pain, with the Danish building block maker witnessing its first sales decline in 13 years, partly due to a shift toward online apps and games. Nervous vendors wanted cash up front. Speculation that bankruptcy was on the horizon sparked fear among Toys R Us suppliers. According to the company's bankruptcy filing, almost 40% of international and domestic vendors lost confidence and demanded cash in advance or on delivery. That would have required an additional $1 billion in liquidity, the company said. So think about it. The company was already being destroyed with debt. They couldn't compete with Amazon. Kids rather play on their iPods, iPads, or smartphones. And vendors, because they knew the company was going belly up, wanted to be paid for the products they would sell at their stores when the products were delivered. And when you have no money to pay for products, you can't really follow through with that. So Toys R Us was screwed, man. They were absolutely screwed. I don't care what anybody says or what any corporate suit at Toys R Us says. But there's some good news, gee golly. The executives are still going to get payout bonuses, even though the company they ran failed. Now, this part of the story is not new news, but it's relevant to what's going on with Toys R Us. Now, a federal bankruptcy watchdog took Toys R Us to court because they were afraid that they were going to pay their top executives executives a retention bonus, which with amendments to the bankruptcy code in 2005 is no longer allowed. But the judge overseeing this case, Judge Phillips, said, no, this isn't a retention bonus these top executives are getting with this dying company. They're getting an incentive bonus because they're looking to turn the company around that barely a few months later is going to be considered dead. But no, it's not a retention bonus. This is what Judge Phillips had to say. I understand the U.S. trustee's job is to be the federal watchdog, and you very well perform that responsibility. However, I believe the preponderance of evidence establishes the plan is to incentivize and not retain. So they weren't retention bonuses, Judge. They were incentive bonuses. Toys R Us, a company that the article they got this information from is from December, that a few months later barely is now belly up and is being liquidated and is probably going to be gone throughout the world. Incentive bonuses they're getting? Seriously? Could you imagine? Let's think about, this is like crony capitalism 101. But let's say, the little guy, the average 9-to-5 worker, you're making a salary, whatever you're making, $50,000-$60,000 a year, and your company goes belly up. At most, if you're lucky, you may get a very, very small severance package that'll get you through maybe 6 months at best. Do you think that if you went into your job and you screwed up, okay, and you get fired, or the company shuts down, do you think that company is going to give you like a $2 million golden parachute to walk away with? Oh, hey there, Todd, Bill, Christina, or whatever your name is, just giving examples. Oh, you didn't actually do your tasks the way we wanted to. You actually hurt the company as a whole. Here's a few million to go get fired with. You don't have to work another day in your life now, even though you screwed over the company. Congratulations. Could you imagine me? Oh, Review Tech USA, Rich, it's going belly up. And Google goes to me, here, Rich, here's $2.7 million for you to go away and walk away with because you made Review Tech USA fail. Thank you. I don't understand that. I don't understand. Are all the employees, the 30,000 employees, they're going to be out of work over at Toys R Us? Are they going to get golden parachutes? Of course not. Of course not. And hey, man, look, I'm not talking about capitalism as a whole. If there are executives there and their leadership is making the company grow and they get multi-million-dollar bonuses because the choices they're making are making the company they work for succeed, have at it, man. You get those Rolls Royces. You get those mansions that should have zip codes if the things you're doing are helping the company grow. I'm not hating on that. But a company is failing, it's in bankruptcy, it's going into liquidation, and the executives are getting bonuses? How is this even logical? How is this even rational? Look, that's a side vent, and I could probably make another 30 videos talking about that and crony capitalism and all that bullshit that goes on. But it is sad to see Toys R Us go. It's not that me as a 36-year-old man went there all the time. Even though it's funny, when I got back into gaming in 2007 with my tax return, I went there and I got my Xbox 360 from there with Gears of War. So that's an interesting memory. But Toys R Us going under, it just is a symbol of my childhood that's dying, that's going away. I remember during the holidays, you would get the Sears wish book and you would get flyers from Toys R Us. And you would be so excited as a kid looking through those and picking out what you want Santa to get you or what you want your parents to get you, whatever the case may be. And you would write down a list or you would circle things and you would give it to your parents. And during those last few weeks before Christmas, you would be you would be in this euphoric mood, so excited, and you would visualize the things that you saw in the Toys R Us book or the Sears Wish book, and you couldn't wait and hoped, and the excitement partially was, will I see that under the tree? Will I actually get it? And it was, you look at these companies and they're part of your childhood, and some of the greatest memories you ever had are surrounding these retail stores. And when they go away, it feels like it's taking away a piece of your childhood and some of the fantastic memories that you had. Toys R Us, it sucks to see you go out like this. I don't know whether Bain Capital bought you or not, if you would still be able to maintain relevancy today, but you've been around for a hell of a long time, and thank you very much for giving me a lot of fun memories as a child. I'll never forget those. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one.
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. They got a million toys at Toys R Us that I can play with. I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys so much less. You really flipped it.